Yo and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector, and today is Wednesday. It's been a very interesting day and a half or so for me, last day and a half. A couple things I want to mention before I get to the main crux of my discussion today, what I want to talk about. Number one, I think my first podcast is going to drop tomorrow morning on the Bench Clear channel and across all podcast things. It's the first episode of that Vintage Cards podcast. So I'm really excited about that, actually. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be something I put a lot of effort and time into as I try to build that up. I think I'm really going to enjoy working on that and having a lot of fun with it. So that'll be tomorrow morning, I believe, and it'll be fun. So hopefully you'll check that out and enjoy that. The second thing is, on what day was it? Monday night, I guess it was. Jake, the Ticket Leprechaun is his channel. He had an interview with Tim Mead, who is the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. And I saw that video and I was like, oh my gosh, you're kidding. And I watched it. It was, first of all, a great interview. The fact that Jake reached out to him, that he reached out back, agreed to do an interview on a YouTube channel, I thought was just so cool. Tim was incredibly, just great on the interview, just so good. And I highly, highly recommend you watch it. If you're a baseball fan at all, you should check it out just to get some insight into who's running the Hall of Fame and just some other things that they talk about. I'll put a link down below to that video because, again, I just thought it was so good and great on Jake to get that interview. So those are just two things I wanted to throw out there. But the main point of this video is to kind of just talk. There will be no baseball cards shown in this video, so if that's what you're here for, you might as well move along. There's not going to be any of that today. And maybe that's kind of the point. So there are a lot of people in the YouTube community that don't talk about their lives. They focus on the cards. They stay, that's what they talk about, and that's fine. They don't even tell people their real name or anything about where they live or what their life is like or any of that stuff. They keep everything very, very private. Again, nothing wrong with that. That's each person's choice to make on how they do that. Me, on the other hand, I have always believed that in order for you guys to get to know me, I'm more than just my collection. I'm a person, and I have thoughts and feelings and life experiences and things that happen all the time that you say, well, you should, don't put that on your YouTube channel. Well, why not? If you want to get to know the man behind the cards, if you just want to know the cards, fine. There are just so many people that say, oh, people don't care about that. People don't want to hear about that. Well, truthfully, I hear Eric talk about it all the time about doing content for the following generations. Well, I look at my channel as a archive not only of my baseball cards and my collection and my passion for the game, passion for the hobby, all of that stuff. It's also, an archive of my life. At different points when I've done videos, if I look back, I can say, here's what was going on, or here's how things have happened. And I've shared a lot of personal stuff about me on this channel, and certainly not afraid to do so, because to me, if you get an insight into who I am as a person, you can connect maybe on a deeper level as to why I like what I like in cards, why I don't like certain things about the hobby. And again, agree or disagree with me. At the end of the day, we're all just people. And part of the problem is, I think, with our country is that we just don't listen to each other. That you hear one thing that pisses you off or sets you off, and it immediately you make a forever judgment on that person, and therefore you're just blind to anything else that they say. Like, you don't even hear it. You're deaf. It's probably you're not blind to what they say. You're deaf to you just don't listen anymore. They could, there are people out there that dislike me so much. I could cure cancer and solve world poverty, and they would still think I'm a dick. There's nothing I can do to change that. That's not really the point, though. It's not why I was doing this, but it just kind of came into my mind to talk about. and I don't care. For those people that are like that, why don't you just move on? Just stop watching my stuff if you don't like it that much. If you don't like me that much. But the point of talking about documenting your life and sharing stories is, yesterday I had something happen to me that, if you're a dad at all, if you're a dad of any age child, you can probably relate to this or sympathize with what I went through yesterday. So I'll tell you the story. I went to work yesterday morning, and I had literally just gotten to my office around 9 o'clock in the morning, and I get a call from my daughter, Jessica. And there are a few calls that you get from your kids. First of all, rule of life, by the way, if your kids call or your spouse calls, you pick up the phone no matter what you're doing. I can be in the middle of a client meeting with my most important client, and if my kids call, I'm going to say, hang on one second, and I'm going to answer that call. And it's because it might be a quick, hey, can I call you back? Is everything okay? Yes, okay. Let me call you back. I'm in a meeting. I'll call you right back. But I'm going to answer the phone every time. And that's just a good rule of life, I think, to do that. And it's because you don't know if it's the last time you're going to talk to them. And by the way, Jessica's okay. So let me say that first. But I got the call of, hey, Dad, I'm okay. I was in a car accident, and I'm like, whoa. Like literally the worst fear. You just have these fears as a parent of like, are you really okay? Like, are you okay? Are you safe? Are you, you start running down the list of questions that are, all right, let's deal with these first, then we'll deal with the other stuff. Turns out Jessica was on her way home from college just to be here for a few days. She has a long, she can do pretty much everything online. And so she was coming home to spend some time here. Long weekend, holiday weekend coming up. She was going to work this weekend at the golf course as a cart girl and do some things. And so she was coming home. Huge storms up in Oklahoma and Texas yesterday. So she was leaving in the morning and was driving and hydroplaned and rolled her car. And, miraculously, she was okay. Like, she literally walked away, other than being a little bit sore and shaken up. She's okay. But in the moment when you get that phone call and you're not there and you can't take care of them or help them or anything, it's a very helpless feeling, let me tell you. And so I immediately jump in my car and I'm like, okay, I'm coming. Luckily with iPhones, you can go, all right, where is she? Directions, go. And, she was 2 hours away. Like, it's not like I could just, I can be there in 15 minutes and help her out. She's 2 hours away. And that's such a horrible feeling as a dad. You're just like, oh my gosh, is she really okay? Is she only okay because she's full of adrenaline and it's going to wear off and she's got something wrong with her? Or do we need to take her to the hospital? Does she need, and I'm not there to help her make those decisions. But I'm telling you, she did so good. First thing she did, she called 911. She's laying on her side, by the way. The car ended up on its side. It had rolled. And she was on her side, kind of dangling and in her seatbelt. And she's calling 911. First call, some people stopped and helped her. It's pouring rain, by the way, during all of this. And she got out of the car and got away from the car, and a tow truck came quickly. The state troopers came quickly, and they did a great job of helping my daughter when I couldn't be there to help her. I was trying to get there to help her. And so then I'm driving, as fast as I can to go get her. Like, I don't even care if I get a ticket. Like, I don't care. I'm heading to Oklahoma to get her and help her and figure out what's going on. But she called the insurance company. She started the claim. I mean, really, really proud of her. She did a great job being an adult, what it's like to be an adult. I mean, she's 19. You got to learn these things in life. Unfortunately, I hope you your kids don't learn lessons that are really, really painful. At the end of the day, it's just a car, just a Honda CR-V. Not a high dollar car, not anything like that. It's just, as long as she's okay, right? We all think that, as long as you're okay, like, that's the thing. And it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. So she learned quite a few things through this as we talked about it on our way home. Because I eventually got there, and you see your kids after something like that, and you just give them the most amazing hug. You're grateful there, because I saw the car. It's trashed. It's completely totaled. Part of it's just completely crushed in, the passenger side. If that had been the driver's side, I might be having a different conversation with you guys today. Probably not having a conversation with you today. It's probably the more accurate way to put it. But, very blessed. God was watching out for our family. And so just an interesting day. So then get back home and finally get her home, and just grateful and like, okay, so she's going to spend the rest of the week with us. We're going to figure out the whole car thing. And, it's times like that and moments like that where, like, it's just perspective, right? It's just always things that, again, cards are a hobby. Baseball, sports are just hobbies. They're just things we enjoy, things we do with our spare time. But again, I think, sharing that story, I'm documenting that. I'm putting it here where, if I want to remember, it's hard to remember stuff later on down the road, especially when you're old, that, hey, I can remember what actually happened. How was I feeling in that moment? How was I feeling shortly after? And getting that down, getting that out, and sharing that is, I think, part of getting to know me. And, my friends in the hobby, they know me. They know what kind of guy I am. There's a lot of people out there that don't know me at all, that think certain things about me. But yeah. So that's been my last day and a half or so, dealing with that. And again, it's all going to be fine. Just for all the people that knew about it and were throwing up prayers and thoughts for Jessica, I really appreciate it. And yeah, so we'll get back to the card stuff, well, tomorrow, if you want to listen to the podcast, I guess. But again, that stuff it's just a part of your life. We all have families and jobs and careers, and yeah, I know you're not supposed to ever talk about religion or politics or money or any of that stuff on YouTube. And, those are the taboo things to talk about, because you're going to risk alienating people. Okay. Be alienated then. Go away. If you don't like hearing about to people talking, not that I want to get into all that stuff. I'm just saying, I'm going to share what I want to share. And you can choose to watch or not watch. Matters not to me. But it's as much, I'd like to share it. That's the point of doing it, is not just, I'm doing it for me. And maybe some of you guys that are dads can relate and can sympathize and understand, and, hope we know none of us ever want to get that phone call from our kids. I'm okay, but, or I had an accident, or any of that stuff. It's just terrifying, let me tell you. So anyway, I've rambled long enough, almost 15 minutes. So thanks for watching, and we will catch up with you guys soon. Keep collecting.